So if you're into stories about shapeshifters and lougawous, this is the story time for you. Now this story is brought to you by my aunt who lives in Haiti, and this is actually her story from childhood. I cannot make this shit up. So according to my aunt, my dad, her, and her brother grew up in this house called lougawou, which means the house/yard of demons. Now, through these voice notes, I just found out I actually had some lougawous in the family. In Haiti, depending on where you live, you would have to physically leave your house, bring a container, go to a place where there's fresh water, collect water so you can go back home. So that day, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, with my grandfather were going to get water. So this person that was walking behind them her name is Vaughn. That was my grandmother's cousin. There were always rumors that Vaughn was a lougawou, but my aunt never really saw her do anything suspicious, so until... Now again, I know this is really gonna sound unbelievable and schizo. Now, bear with me. This is their aunt. They used to go fetch water together, so why would they have to believe that she's a lougawou? Until one day. So all the kids are playing outside in lougawou. Basically, they look over and they see a walking broom. Now, this is really freaky because brooms don't walk. So they're all watching the broom, extremely confused, watching the broom advance towards them, and the broom suddenly starts to morph and shapeshift into Vaughn, their aunt, with a package on her head and everything. Now this is really creepy because she's still alive, says my aunt. This is not like this is the dead visiting. This is a walking human. Remember how I said earlier that they were all going to go fetch water? It was my aunt, my dad, my uncle, and my grandfather. And behind them was Vaughn. Apparently, only my aunt and my uncle were able to see Vaughn behind them. My grandfather did not see her when he turned around, and neither did my dad. Creepy, right?
So my parents were very religious. My mother used to do Bible study at our neighbor's house every Thursday. So one Thursday, she was getting ready to go to Bible study, and I always attended Bible study with her. So she was getting ready in her room. While I was in the backyard, I could see through the house. I looked through the house, I saw my mother leaving to go to the Bible study. So I ran after her. She started walking faster and faster. I called her name. I screamed her name. She never turned around. I walked faster and faster trying to, catch up with her. I could not catch up with my mom. She went through a corridor that was really, really dark. I went through the corridor, which was the wrong way, but I didn't question anything because that was my mom. So finally, she stopped near the ocean. I finally caught up with my mother. I grabbed her hand. I grabbed her clothes and I said, "Mom, I've been running after you. Why didn't you stop? And what are we doing here?" This person just turned around and looked at me. It was a totally different woman. I have never seen this woman before, and I never see her again. So I let her hand go and I ran back home. I ran for my life. And when I got home, surprise, surprise, my mother was wearing the same outfit that this woman, whoever she was wearing. Yeah.
If you hear somebody knocking on your door or you hear somebody's voice but no one is home, never open the door. Scary story time. And this story this time is actually not my dad's story, it's my friend's story. She's also Haitian and she wanted to share her story with you guys. So when her family was supposed to come to this country, coming from Haiti, they kept it a secret. And this is actually a common thing because even with me too, when I was coming, it was an absolute secret. Nobody knew but me, my dad, and my grandma, and my uncle. And my uncle was a pastor. Well, is a pastor. But the reason for that is people are jealous and people will do anything to stop you from where you need to be. When they see you prospering and it's not them, I've seen it happen so many times in Haiti. Anyway, so that was the case for her and her family. At the time, it was her and her brother. And when I tell y'all, it was an absolute secret. Nobody knew they were coming to America but the people living in their house. It was literally top secret, which is why it was shocking to her mom when she got a phone call from a church member. Mind y'all, they weren't even that close. Like, that church member, it's not like they were like best friends. It was just somebody they went to church with, and she actually lived very far too. Now, there was this lady that they knew, that everybody knew was a lougawou. But it wasn't their business, you feel me? Like, that's the lady's problem. That's her, she do her. Anyway, so the mom gets a phone call from the church member, and the church member tells her mom, I had a dream, and I know that you guys are leaving. You guys are going to America, but so-and-so, the lady that's a lougawou, does not like that. And she has something planned for y'all so that it does not happen. Mind y'all, they don't even know how the lougawou lady found out that they're leaving, but I mean, you know, lougawou. The church member tells her from her dream that she was told to tell her mom these instructions. First one is, of course, make sure that nobody else finds out. The second one was there was this uniform they used to wear to church for Saturday services. She tells them to keep that uniform and all of their clothes that they're going to wear until the day that they leave, and make sure that nobody touches those clothes. And the last thing that she told her to do was that the car that was supposed to transport them to the airport, change it. Absolutely change it. So they did all of that. They prayed, they followed directions and stuff like that, and everything worked out well. They got here thinking it was over, but woo, was it far from over. And the last part, I almost forgot to tell you guys that part of the directions that they were supposed to follow is to the kids, like, not just the kids, but everybody that was leaving was not allowed to leave the house at all until they left, because of what the lougawou lady was planning, which is called an expedition. And my friend didn't know how to translate it, and I also don't know how to translate it. So if you're Haitian and you know how to translate it in English, please comment. Now, before we completely fast forward until when they got here, let's backtrack just a little bit. So a month before they came, my friend's mom had a dream, and it was basically like the house that they were gonna live in. It was somebody showing her around the house and showing her the neighborhood. Okay, now fast forward. They get here. And when they get here, exactly what her mom saw in that dream a month before is exactly how the house looked, with everything that she was being shown. So she starts like telling the kids, so the upstairs is gonna be here, there's a store around the corner, there's this and there's that. And my friend is like, how do you know all that? This is our first time here. So anyway, they settle in or whatever, but little did they know that the lady, the church member lady, has been trying to get in contact with them. Now, remember when I told y'all they weren't even close like that, so the lady didn't really have their number when they got here. So this lady is trying really bad to get in contact with them because something else came up. So it takes her a good couple of weeks until she finds a number and finally reaches my mom's friend again. So she calls her and she tells her she has had another dream. And this time, this dream is telling her that the person found out that they got here and they're really not happy about it now. And now she's like, oh, y'all think this is over? It's far from over. We're gonna get you from over there. She was upset that her original plan didn't go through and they actually got here. So my friend's mom gets the message. She gets off the phone. She talks to my friend and her brother and tells them to be very careful because they were about to start school. She starts praying. They even started praying in her house in Haiti too. So it was just like a prayer session. They were constantly praying just in case. So fast forward to like another week after they got that phone call. At this point, my friend and her brother, they're in school and their mom is home. And this had to be around like noon or whatever, right? She hears a knock at the door. She's home alone. Their dad is at work and the kids are in school. So she's like, who could be at the door at this time? She just got here. She ain't got no friends. But then she thinks, oh, maybe the kids had half a day and they're getting here early. She still goes like, who's this? And she hears my friend's voice and her brother saying, hey, it's us. But she asked that all the way from her bedroom because she was about to take a nap and she heard the knock on the door. So she goes to the door, opens the door, and no one is there. So her being tired, she's like, oh, well, maybe they went to the store. They'll be right back. So she closes the door and doesn't lock it, just in case the kids were coming back. But little did she know, the kids were still in school. Okay, so my friend and her brother, the kids, they get home from school and they go to greet their mom, only to be greeted with, "Where y'all been at? It's been hours." So they're like, "What?" If y'all know Haitian moms, y'all know. She's like, "It's been hours. It's been over 2 hours. You guys came home, went to the store, and never came back. Where have you guys been?" So they're like, "Mommy, we were in school." And she goes, "No, y'all came, knocked on the door, told me to open the door, and just disappeared and was gone for hours." And they're like, "Mommy, no, school ends at 2:45. What are you talking about?" And they're just going back and forth. And at this point, she's starting to think that they didn't even go to school at all and they were just lying about it. And the kids are so confused because they're like, "What is going on, Mommy? We were in school." And so in the midst of the back and forth, she gets a phone call from Haiti. So she's like, "You know what? Y'all stay right here. Let me take this phone call and I'm going to deal with y'all after." So she goes and she takes the phone call and it's Haiti. And they tell her that they were having a prayer session, and for some reason, the prayer session shifted to her family, and they just started, for some reason, everybody just started praying for her family nonstop. And then it hits her. She now remembers the church member that called in the dream that she had. So in the midst of her being on the phone, Dad gets home. And so the kids are explaining to him, like, "We're getting in trouble for no reason." And before Dad could say anything, their mom calls her dad into the room. And I guess she basically explains to him like what's happening and what happened earlier. So then her mom changes clothes. She ties her hair up. You know Christians. If you know Haitian Christians, that hair gets tied up, it's prayer time. They come out of the room and they start praying and singing and stuff like that. They took the kids, put the kids in the middle and start praying and singing. And she's praying, she's rebuking the spirit, she's letting them know, "This is not your house, this is my house, you don't belong here, you need to get out." You know, she gangsta with it. She's eating them spirits up, okay? She's telling them, "Listen, I know they sent you, but you're gonna go right back to where you came from, because you cannot touch me and my husband, and you for sure cannot touch my children." I told y'all multiple times, that's the attitude you need to have whenever you feel like there's something around. And so the kids are also doing their little prayers too, but they're not as much as prayer warriors as their parents, you know? As they're chasing the spirit out, they start hearing scratches on the front door. It was loud enough for you to know that that's the spirit scratching the door, as if the spirit is trying to get out. It's a lot of scratches. So as soon as they heard that, they start praying even louder. So then the parents went and got holy water and anointing oil and mixed it together. That's a deadly combination right there. But mind y'all, as they're doing this, the kids are still in the middle. All this moving that they're doing, they're still like keeping the kids in the middle as a way to guard them. They did that because spirits love to jump from one vessel to another, especially the weaker vessels. So, and you know, kids are kids and they are the most vulnerable. So as they're praying, they keep them kids in the middle. So they mix the holy water and anointing oil together and they start spraying the house. And this spirit is going crazy at that door. So then the dad goes and opens the door so the spirit can get out. The moment they open the door, the scratches stop. So now the spirits got out. But that doesn't mean stop praying. So their dad stayed in the apartment with the kids to, you know, still keep them safe. And the mom went around the whole house, floor to floor, room to room, corner to corner, spraying the entire house. And she even went outside to spray the outside of the house to make sure that that spirit is not coming back in. And they prayed and prayed and prayed over the children, prayed over the house, and that spirit left and never came back. And that lady that was trying to get them so bad once again failed. And after that, they never really had problems anymore. She did say she has some other short stories that she would like to tell me to tell y'all, but as far as that case, that was done with.